your story here, Tomas, because it started a long, long time ago.
Yeah, it's almost 10 years.
Did you
Yeah, to the day when I started back here for 2 weeks work experience.
see how you get on?
That was the longest 2 weeks, nearly 10 years later.
That was after your granddad passed away.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
correct.
and
Yeah.
I suppose the amazing thing that we didn't even realize, I suppose you might realize time that I suppose you might have read the connection between the Greys, the
Yeah,
Maloney's. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, the family connection
yeah, it
to
was
it as
there.
well.
Yeah,
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 and I
yeah,
suppose
yeah.
that's probably what landed us over here
In
in
the
the
first
first
place,
place.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
As your granny and granddad had come over and looked at the place
Yeah,
and said to you, "Oh, yeah, this is where we want to have our funeral services." Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah,
was
yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
We always knew this was where,
Where they were coming.
yeah, where they were
Yeah,
coming. Yeah, and
yeah.
they had their affairs in order.
And you took to the funeral business very quickly.
Yeah, I suppose it was something that I had in my head, I suppose, for a long time
Yeah,
too, as well. I thought about, and yeah, it was. Look, I was very lucky where I started. I suppose got great
mm,
training and guidance from
yeah,
yourself and everyone here,
yeah,
and it certainly made it very easy for me
yeah.
to start.
You became part of the family very quickly, I think, and
Yeah,
settled
yeah, I
in.
did. I settled in very quickly, integrated.
Yeah, yeah, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
And you took great. I mean, first of all, I suppose the environment probably had a huge interest for you probably in the beginning. That was probably
yeah,
your catapult, was it,
yeah. I suppose that was probably I suppose the goalpost
at the
initially.
time? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I suppose that's where I was heading in, and then the funerals came as part of
part of the
doing the
process.
funeral directing. I suppose as separate to the embalming, it's two separate avenues, really, isn't it? It's very
Correct.
different.
And you enjoyed both, obviously. And
Enjoy both, yeah, because I suppose the embalming is one side of it, and
yeah,
then you get to see, I suppose, the effects of the embalming during the funeral and the comfort that that can bring
to a
to a
family.
family
Yeah.
during the days of the funeral
It
as
kind
well.
of makes you feel like your job is worthwhile then, that you've done
Exactly,
something
yeah,
positive and
exactly, yeah.
you have an
I suppose,
influence on them.
yeah.
And I often say when families come in or when they phone, first of all, and we get involved, we do kind of start out on a journey with them,
Oh,
don't
absolutely.
we? To
Yeah,
get them to the next stage. And
absolutely.
yeah, I remember the great poet saying, that your job was to get the deceased where they should be and the family where they need to be.
That's it.
And it
That's
probably
it.
sums it up really.
Absolutely, yeah. I suppose it's helping a family transition from what used to be normal for them to what's going to be normal in the future.
Yeah,
And the bereavement process is very long. The grieving process is long, but the funeral for those first couple of days is very important for what's going to be the stepping stone down the line for the weeks and months to come, isn't it?
and when it was somebody belonged to you then when poor Granny passed away and
Yeah,
Granny had all her arrangements made and told
yeah,
us what she wanted.
yeah.
Did you find that different?
It was very different. I suppose you had the two sides to it. You had your funeral directing hat on
Mm,
for one part of it, and then you had your family hat on
yeah,
for
part.
the other part as
Yeah,
well. So you were at both sides of the fence. But it was a very proud moment. You know, I
of
suppose
course.
we look after people here in the town that we know.
Yeah,
We look after people who we don't know, and to have that privilege to actually look after a family member, you know, it can be very difficult, but it's very proud afterwards.
yeah, great. It's a great honour. And I remember
Absolutely.
with my mum, I remember friends offering to do the embalming for my mum. And when my uncle Sean passed away, you offered to do the
Yeah.
embalming. So, and it's just great that people would, but it's
Yeah.
something that you need to do. And probably maybe when Granny passed away, I probably offered, but you had to do it. That was,
Absolutely,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And look, it's always. I think it's nice to have that offer
isn't it?
because to have that in the back of your mind, maybe that you feel maybe you have to do it can be difficult, but you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
it's nice to have that support too as well. That knowing that if you are coming under pressure, that
there is
there was
backup.
someone
Yeah,
there
there is
to
backup.
take
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reins.
And then I often think, I remember with my own mum, I kind of said, any family member, I kind of said they looked after me when I was small.
That's it.
So it was my turn,
That's it.
you know, look after him. I remember, I think I told you the great story about my uncle Billy with the long nosed pliers,
Yes.
and he asked me what the long nosed pliers was for in the embalming, and I explained to him that it was for fixing rosary beads. And of course, he came up with the slogan then, rosary beads fixed while you wait. And of course, when he passed away, I had to fix these rosary beads. So it was, it was
That's it.
ironic.
Yeah. And those stories and those moments kind of come back to you
Thought,
in
yeah,
that
yeah,
moment.
yeah, yeah,
It does.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're good for you, I suppose. They're good for
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
grieving process.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then you brought us in a whole new direction then, internet-wise. we had to get in broadband and we
The
were able to
technology.
broadcast the funerals
Yeah.
and broadcast services from here, which
Yeah.
when the COVID struck then,
That was it. Yeah. Look, COVID happened very quickly and it kind of caught us, it caught a lot of people unawares.
unaware,
We were very well set up here before that anyway. We had
yeah,
been broadcasting and then when COVID did happen, we just ramped it up another level. We had, even where we're sitting now, we had masses being broadcast
Cast.
from how many different parishes were coming in
Correct.
here,
Yeah.
broadcasting their masses.
As far as Upper Church.
As far as Upper Church, we were broadcasting to Upper Church and further
Your home
afield,
place.
even. Yeah. um, and for, I suppose, before, when we were live streaming funerals, we were live streaming to far away. We were going to Australia and America and things like that. And then when COVID happened, we were live streaming funerals and they were watching it 5 minutes out the
Out the
road
road,
because
yeah.
of restrictions and things like that.
Correct. And the masses was and amazing even to this day when I meet people and they talk about that they used to listen to the mass during COVID, to the mass that we broadcast from here,
Yeah.
and they could hear one person I remember even vividly said they could hear yourself and myself, and our answers weren't
Oh yeah.
they weren't brilliant.
We got a bit of practice, I think. Yeah.
Even though we'd be used to answering, I think when we knew the camera was on, we were kind of shy.
Yeah, we were maybe afraid of making
We'd
mistakes,
say,
I
say
think.
the wrong thing. Yeah.
We were normally private in our prayers.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. And of course, our website.
Yeah,
You have
the
big
website.
influence on our website.
Yeah, the website, I suppose, and it's still a work in progress, and there's
Yeah.
still things that I don't think it's always going to be a work in progress, and things that you want to develop further and
Yeah.
better and things like that. And that allowed for people placing condolence messages directly on our website. It's very personal. It allows people then to print them off themselves at home and read them themselves. And we implemented that as well.
And I think we're one of the few funeral homes, then thanks to you, we're one of the few funeral homes that have our own website as personalized.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Most
Yeah.
people would use a renowned website that we won't mention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I suppose others rely on other websites to provide the same service. I think it's best if we can have it in house. We have our own control over it, and we can monitor it ourselves.
And it makes it very personal, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely. It's a website that people locally are familiar with, and people can trust. It's easy to navigate, and I suppose they get the information that's relevant to them.
To them. Yeah. And I suppose the podcast then is just, it's kind of another direction. And of course, it's your influence as well because you provided all the equipment for it.
Well, look, yeah, but the podcast was inevitable, I suppose. It is why we're sitting here with the lights and the cameras and the microphones. It's the next step in the process, I suppose. Every time uh, we're constantly moving with the times and constantly seeing what the next trend is out there. At the time, whether it was the website or whether it was the live streaming. Now this is the podcast, and it's another. I suppose it's just another medium of getting information to people. The funerals can sometimes have very closed door policy, and it can be shrouded in a lot of mystery. And this will give information to people, and just give them.
And I think people are getting more curious as to what's going on. They ask more questions now, whereas before it was probably a lot of it was taboo and they wouldn't ask any questions.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose if we don't ask a question, we don't need to know about it, and now
Correct.
people do want to know.
Yeah,
And I
correct.
think it's only right, and that information is out there, and that reliable information. Is out
Correct. And they kind of know then when a bereavement hits their own doorstep, then they're better geared up. They know what's kind of coming.
there. Yeah,
As you
absolutely.
even
Yeah.
say, I often heard you say that if we have a funeral going on and another family ring us, they generally know that we already have a funeral going on because they'll watch the website.
That's it. Yeah, they'll have known, and then they're gearing themselves up. They know the direction that they're going to head in. Then as well.
Yeah, brilliant, isn't it? Yeah,
Days and dates planned, and that helps a lot too as well.
and you have fierce involvement just in AV systems as a rule. This is your baby, as they say.
Yeah.
You brought it here, and I suppose you developed it a bit here. I remember even at one stage, I think during COVID, you had a little kind of you were doing your own little broadcast, your own little webcam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did that during COVID as well. Yeah, there was some DJing going on here, and then of course we had our music as well. We had our recording the music out the back as well.
Yeah.
And again, it was just, I think it was a time where you could do things like that, and people did appreciate that. It was a different form of content, and it was local content for local people, and I think people enjoyed that.
And it entertained them during a time that they needed entertaining.
Absolutely,
yeah. There's nothing going on around the place. And
exactly, and it brought an air of ease or calm to
a situation.
Calm situation.
And your involvement then with kind of paramedic style.
Yeah.
The Order of Malta, isn't it? Yeah, to get my paraphrase correct. Yeah. And I suppose that helped you with your embalming skills as well. That's what brought
Absolutely, yeah. Look, I think everything helped, and it gives you that experience for dealing with families as well,
Yeah,
and just understanding where people are
coming
coming
from.
from too as well.
But I suppose your whole kind of dealing with the embalming room, and then when we had to deal with COVID, it was no issue to us. We were
Exactly,
able to
yeah.
handle
So
it. And
yeah, from
we had
just
our
managing infections and
yeah,
things like
correct. We
that.
were
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to manage.
absolutely, yeah,
Even though we were given advice maybe to do certain things,
yeah,
we always said it was just advice.
exactly, yeah,
And
absolutely,
we were
yeah.
still able to give a family a full and normal as possible funeral service.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, I think it did give things were handled differently elsewhere,
Yeah,
and that's what it is.
yeah,
But we kept our service to the high standard that we expect of ourselves and that families expect from us as well.
right.
And ultimately, to give families that opportunity to have that closure and to have that goodbye, because that's very important.
Important because I think if it was somebody belonged to ourselves,
Absolutely.
we would want that they would have as normal a service as possible, and that we'd be able to see them, and
Absolutely.
even the way we were able to open our doors and leave them open for longer, so as 10 people could pass through at a time.
Exactly. And I suppose a funeral gives you that opportunity to be creative and just come up with a different solution
Solution to it.
to achieve the same outcome. You can do things
Yeah,
differently. You don't have to stop completely. Um, Something like this could very well happen again in the future. And we should probably take a few lessons from
from it.
the
Yeah.
past going forward.
And I suppose the advice coming down the line, in fairness, they didn't know. They
Exactly.
didn't know what to do. So,
Exactly. And it did catch a lot of people unawares. And it was probably just to get advice out there as quickly as possible at
possible,
the
yeah.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And have you any idea what we're going to do next?
Absolutely not.
Brace yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Anytime I hear of a new idea or a new suggestion, oh, what's it
What's he
going to
going to
be
do now?
next?
Yeah.
But no doubt it'll be moving with the times, and it'll be bettering the service for the
Uh,
families that we
which
look
is
after.
very important. I think even that our little room where we have our cremation services now has kind of
Absolutely.
brought us a huge leap forward, hasn't it? And
Absolutely. Look, it really has been, I suppose, a game changer for families too as well. Cremation is only going to get more and more popular. Again, to have a service and to have a facility in a location that families are familiar with
mhm,
and families are comfortable with. The majority of families that we look after here have been coming out of this building, coming in and out of this building for a long time.
yeah,
They're very comfortable here. They're comfortable with everybody here. So if they can have a service here and have everything in house, it makes
under
it
the
a lot
one roof.
easier for them.
And for everyone, I think for us and for them, for the
Absolutely.
crematoriums, everyone is.
It just yeah,
Yeah, it just
I
makes it
think
across
everyone's
the
a
board,
winner.
doesn't it? Yeah,
To be able to have a committal service here,
yeah.
in the same style that you would have in a crematorium anywhere in the
Yeah.
country is brilliant.
And of course, our AV system for our cremation service, second to none. No expense spared.
It's all
Fair play to you,
yeah,
Tomas.
it's all there.
Lovely to talk to you, Tomas. And
Thanks very much.
yeah,
Yeah,
any questions you want to ask me now? Is
I wasn't actually. I was only prepared to be asked questions. But no doubt we'll have a
Another
formal
conversation? Yeah,
conversation like this
yeah,
again at some
correct. Yeah,
stage. I'm not used to being at this side of the microphone.
and no
So,
doubt we'll have some other developments somewhere along the way.
absolutely,
Probably not in the too distant future.
absolutely, and we'll be chatting about them as well.
Please God.
Yeah, thanks
Thanks a
very
million,
much.
Tomas.
Thanks, Eamon. Thank you.
Thanks.